Hey everybody, thanks for dropping in. My name is Dylan, and today we're going to be talking about the friend zone and why it doesn't exist. So, if you are in the friend zone, you're probably like, well, it does exist. You know, this is a very real issue that I'm having right now in my life. There's this person that I really want to be with, and I just can't seem to be with them. The term friend zone is kind of like a whiny thing to say because it's showing that you don't really respect what that person feels. They feel like you're a good friend. If they felt like you were more than a friend, then there might be something more there. And that could still be true. So there are a few different things you can do to figure that out. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. I want to talk about how you can move from just a friendship into a relationship. And not think of it as being friend zoned, because that's just ridiculous and childish and like, you know what? It's kind of stupid. It's just really stupid. One of the big things I recommend is figure out what that person is interested in. Not super interested in like to a T, but like try to do that with the person even if it's not something you're really into. Say they are an athlete and you're not the athletic type, but you still really like them and feel like there could be a connection there, then get a cat. If you have a cat, they'll like you. Right, Jerry? This is Jerry. So figure out something that they like that's not super specific and weird. So like if they're like, let's say they play baseball or softball or something, don't invite them to like the batting cages maybe, because that's a little too specific and kind of weird. But, you know, go on a walk with them or do something outside, go on a hike, you know, something more athletically inclined, because that's probably something that they're going to be more interested in. It seems obvious, but like if you do something that's too specific, you can come across as trying too hard, and then it's kind of like, it's just a big, creepy, weird thing to do. Don't do that. And another big thing is people generally feel a lot more comfortable hanging out in group settings. But if you really want to figure out if you have a connection with somebody, I really recommend just trying to hang out with them. And hang out with them in an environment where you're going to actually be able to talk, maybe not share directly how you feel, but just get a better idea of how that person feels about you. Because if you can do that, then you might figure out, without going too far into this thing, that, you know, there really isn't going to be a connection, which is a really tough thing to admit to yourself. But if you can get those vibes out of that short, out of a one like date conversation, not even like a date, just like a hangout sesh, like if you can figure that out, that'll save you a lot of headaches down the road. So I really don't recommend going to like a movie or hanging out with more than like 4 people at a time, because in group settings, a lot of it can just like devolve to just like humor and like situational humor, light topics, you know, trending things like pop culture, stuff like that. And it doesn't really give you an opportunity to get further into, you know, exactly how you feel about them, or, you know, really show that you're interested in the other person and, you know, ask them questions. It doesn't really give you a chance to do that. And now if you do that in a group setting, it also kind of puts a big like red flag over your head. Like, hey, I'm interested in this person, and now the 2 or 3 other people we're with also know that. Like, you don't want to run that. You don't want to run that risk. Another tip: don't tell a lot of friends. Tell maybe one close friend if you really need to get it off your chest, but like, don't go spreading it, because the last thing you want is for that to get out, and then it just makes everybody really uncomfortable. And that could be a really tough situation to deal with. So I also don't recommend telling a friend to try to get information out of that person, or, you know, hang out with their friends and kind of like do recon, like spy a little bit. Like, don't do that. It's not genuine. If you really want to know if you really want to know how they feel about you, that's something that you need to do on your own, because that's a huge step to take, but you'll feel so much better for doing it, and it will be such a huge relief. It can be really anxiety inducing to try to, you know, go up to that person, you know, ask to hang out, but if you don't do that, you're never going to know. And if you feel more comfortable in group settings and working your way in to like be closer with a person by hanging out with them in groups, by all means, do that. Just don't wait too long, because things change so quickly, time flies by, and before you know it, that person might have another significant other. They might, you know, be hanging out with a whole new group of friends. You never know. So you know, take action. It can be really tough, but once you actually do, it makes a world of a difference. And you know what? Before you take action, say to yourself, you know, this might not work out, and that's okay. There's plenty of other people out there, and you know what? If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. People change, and it's okay. Another thing I would say is kind of a weird thing to say, but don't be super specific or like over the top with like things you do for that person. So like, don't figure out exactly what they order at Starbucks, get it for them and bring it to them and be like, surprise! Like, that's weird. See, Jerry is just trying to get in the video with every chance he has, and I was rejecting him. I've tried to record this a couple times. He keeps climbing on my desk, climbing on my chair, trying to get attention, and I'm not giving it to him because I'm trying to make this video, and so he hits the tripod on his way out. Thinks he owns the place. Okay, so those are my tips, and how I really feel about the friend zone. Not cool. Don't even use the word friend zone. So thank you for watching. If you got something out of this video, be sure to leave it a like and comment below with what you found most helpful and what you'd like to see more videos on in the future. It can be really tough to be just friends with somebody you like a lot, and also like figuring out if you're going to be able to be friends with them after you try to pursue a relationship. That can be really tough. And it doesn't work out in a lot of situations, but there's definitely ways to be friends with somebody even if a relationship doesn't work out. And I'm going to be making a video on that in the future because I think it's one of those topics that you can really talk a lot about, and there's a lot to be learned from that. And it really depends on the person and the type of relationship you have with them, but there's a few different ways to know, you know, if there's going to actually be a friendship after this relationship. So be on the lookout for that. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos, and I hope to see you in the next video.